Yo, what's up hi-fi gamers? This is Iceberg, the crazy guys from Simgot who are always coming up for something new, burst onto the gaming world with their debut model is the Simgot EG280. This is a hybrid model, equipped with one dynamic driver and one planar driver, designed for hi-fi music and fun gaming, at a sweet price of $80. Yeah, you heard that right. For this price you get not only IEMs, but a complete gaming set with a deck, application for a cue, and a microphone. I'm really excited how they perform, so let's find out how they sound and if they're worth your money. Let's go! And before we jump into the review, I would like to thank guys from Linsol for providing these IEMs, and all the purchase links are in the description below the video. However, I'm not affiliated, so all my impressions are honest and unbiased. Alright, let's get started. Well, Simgot knows how to surprise with their box design, and this one no exception. It's compact, made black, with a simple design where you can see the silhouette of the gaming cobra on the front, along with the model name, high-res logo, and Simgot game brand. On the side, you can see how the shells are arranged inside and their main feature, while on the back there is two graphs, one with a deck and one without. Inside the box we can see the shells themselves recessed into the foam mold, a 2-pin cable with a mic, 2 bags of ear tips, a portable Simgot USB deck, a pretty good case, a QR code for downloading the Simgot Control App for EQ settings, and some documentations. Just a few words about the Simgot Control App. It allows you to tweak the EQ, controls the mic gain, and it's available for PC and Android via DEC connection. The included cable has gotten a few minor upgrades, so let's talk about that. First of all, it's a 2-pin OFC cable with increasing length of 1.7 meters, so you won't have to worry about it being too short for convenient gaming. And the second is a Goertek mic on lead, which is claimed to be interference-free and capture the sound details precisely. So let's hear how it sounds.
And this is how Simgot EG280 mic sounds like.
Okay, otherwise it's a very pleasant, thin, flexible and soft cable with the Angled branded 2.5mm plug and 2-pin connectors for convenient mobile and PC gaming, while the Simgot deck ensures high quality, accurate sound without latency. The next item included with the Simgot is 2 sets of standard silicone ear tips, transparent one with the wide nozzle, and the black ones with a narrow. They are made of fairly soft silicone, hold their shape well, and they have no problem with the fit or sound isolation when you're using them. The only difference between these two sets, the transparent one tips emphasize the treble, making the bass thinner, while the black ones do the opposite. They make the treble more muted and the bass more powerful. I think everyone will make their own choice here, but for this review, I choose the transparent tips. Okay, let's get back to the shells. The design of the EG280 embodies Simgot's slogan, simple and elegant. On the front we can see a metallic chrome mirror panel with Simgot engraved on the left shells and the Simgot game logo on the right. It looks understated and laconic, but also collects fingerprints, so be prepared to wipe them more often. On the inner side of the shell we can see a translucent resin through which the dynamic and planar drivers are visible, along with a very wide and tail nozzle positioned at an ergonomic angle for a comfortable fit and isolation. On the side we can see a driver configuration, channel indicators, and a slightly recessed 2-pin connector. In terms of size, they are smaller than average, lightweight, and oval-shaped. Remind me of the EA500LM with ergonomic, well-wave shape inside that anatomically follow the shape of the ear. The fit here guys is fantastic and will suit all ear types, whether children or ladies. In my small ears they fit like a glove, deep, tight and secure, creating a tight seal and not causing discomfort even after several hours of active gaming. The isolation in Simgot is above average and cuts out most external noise. Yeah, it's not the best, but for its price and for gamers, it's very decent. Well, before we move on to the sound impressions, let's take a quick look at the graphs. Both graphs shows a typical V-shaped signature, bass and treble are boosted, mids are slightly recessed, but they follow the Harman 2019, which is considered nuts for most people, with a boost in the treble for details. Without the deck, this is the option we are used to, closer to the classic Harman target. The curve is more raw, with a slight dip in the mids, a sharp rise in the upper mids and treble, which can add brightness, but also the risk of sibilance, which I don't really like. With the deck, it's a gamer mode where everything comes alive. Curve is smooth, closer to their own game and Hi-Fi 2025, emphasizing positioning for FPS games with a big boost in the bass and mids, plus extension of the treble for airiness. The difference here is not radical, but noticeable. Without the deck for a smartphone and PC on a 3.5mm, with the deck for USB-C with Simgot Control and EQ presets, where the sound is transformed for FPS gaming, adding more focus on the mids and treble for footsteps. Together they shows how the deck unlocks the potential in the sound from good to great, but let's figure out how the Simgot sounds in reality. The first thing that strikes you when you put on these IEMs is the incredible liveliness and energy of the sound, as if you're sitting in the center of the virtual world where every rustle and beat comes to life. The EG280 sounds incredibly coherent, class, dynamic, with a V-shaped signature that doesn't hurt your ears but pleases your soul. They give a lively musical vibe with a gamer bias, so you can hear footsteps like you're on the battlefield, and the vocals and instruments envelops you. With the deck connection, the sound blossoms, becoming lively, rich and spacious, and without the deck, it's slightly muted, as if someone has slightly covered the sound with a curtain. Now let's talk about the frequency ranges, starting with the bass, as it's the foundation of everything, especially for gaming, where explosion and soundtrack needs to pump. And that is where the EG280 shines, folks. The sub-bass is deep, pulsating and resonant, with a vibration like dubstep or explosion in Call of Duty. There is no hum or smearing, it's pure texture power that rides smoothly like a wave and fades away with a quick decay without rumbling. Without a deck, it's slightly softer, but with a deck, it's punchier and immersive, like an explosion in Cyberpunk, where giants and footsteps vibrate in your chest, helping to feel your environment. The mid-bass adds energy, thick and impactful, like a kick in Mortal Kombat, punchy with excellent slam, but it doesn't dominate, instead blending seamlessly with the sub-bass to create a feeling of fullness. In Burning to the Ground by Nickelback, the drums beat texturally, energetically, pushing forward, but without drowning out the guitar. In gaming, the bass is also noticeable. In CS2 and Valorant, grenades and gunshots are meaty, with good attack, giving you a feeling of power, but without muddiness, so that footsteps remains clear. But here's where the skeptic woke up in me. In very bassy tracks such as dubstep, with these crazy drops, the bass could be a little more aggressive. It's deep, yes, but it lacks that wild punch. It's not failure, just a place where the EG280 falls just short of reaching that masterpiece level. However they EQ from there up, you can boost it, and then the bass becomes simply a monster. But out of the box, it's already impressive, especially for its price and gaming bias. Now let's move on to the mid-range, where I have mixed emotions, but positive overall. The lower mids are warm and cozy, instruments such as bass guitar in a jazz or ambient track sounds pleasant and textured, neither dry nor harsh, and the vocals sounds intimate and soulful, with texture, breath and emotion. But the mid-range is where I got stuck. Without the deck, the mids are slightly recessed but detailed. With the deck, they protrude slightly, adding clarity and sound more forward, as if you are sitting in the front row. The guitar is crisp and clean, with string resonance, but without harshness. The piano is rich and melodic, with subtle nuances that shimmers like a color in the rainbow, without any falseness or overload. Without the deck, female and male vocals are rich and emotional, but not as intimate as with more neutral tuning. Yet this is V-shaped feature where the bass and treble takes the top and the mid-range recess into the background. But however, with the deck and in more emotional soundtrack, for example waving flag by hand, the guitars and vocals are physical, richly textured, lively, with a light sparkle, and that's nice. It's not some flat mash, but real music. By the way, like it if you remember this track from the World Cup. Let's see how many of us there are. Okay, the upper mid saves the day here. It's lively and dynamic, with a peak of 5 decibels, especially with the deck, where it's forward and expressive, adding airflow and energy, but without shootiness or screaming. But without a deck, this rise is a bit sharp, and in bright track there may be a slight grayness at the sibilance level, but the ears sometimes get tired. With the deck on the contrast C, everything is smoothed out and the mid-range becomes more natural. This is a plus for gaming, as the sounds of footsteps, gunshots or the environment in FPS games like CS2 becomes more noticeable, which helps with locations. But if you're sensitive to the upper frequencies, keep the volume within limits, say overdid a little and felt a slight tension. The treble in the EG280 is airy and unobtrusive, but with the sparkles that brings it to the life. It's not a sharp sound like some of Simgot's brighter IEMs, but the softer, smooth vibe that pleases the ears even after long hours of listening. There is a 6mm planar driver that works here, which adds detail and openness, and with the deck, the trebles become slightly brighter and deeper. The cymbals ring with a crystal clarity and don't turn into the unpleasant hiss. The violin sounds lively and bright with each note standing out. The planar drivers works wonders here, but without the deck, the treble is slightly sharper, closer to the Harman 2019. And in bright tracks, you can catch a slight grayness with a hint of roughness. But with the deck, this brilliance is smoothed out, the treble is restrained, but retains its energy. The EG280 Soundstage is like getting into a battlefield where everything around you comes alive. It feels like a deep, multi-layered world where instruments, voice and effects have their own space like actor on a stage. Thanks to the hybrid setup and Simgot smart tuning, the soundstage is wide but not chaotic, with excellent imaging and detail retrieval. With the deck, it becomes even wider and more accurate, especially with presets from the app, and without it, it's a bit more cozy and modest, but still immersive. The separation here is on top notch. The sounds don't merge into the mash, but sit on their own sections. Vocals in the front, instruments a little further back, effects in the backgrounds. Beats, vocals and sibilants are distinct, like different instruments, with good contrast between quiet and loud moments. Imaging is like radar in the game, and the EG280 does a great job here. Everything is in place, precise and clear, especially with the deck where everything becomes extremely precise. In CS2, enemy footsteps on the left or right are pinpointed like a dot on the map, and shots are directional, with a clear source. Simgot EG280 in games is like being in the middle of the epic battle or quest, where every sound is your ally. The hybrid setup with the deck and the queue creates such a immersive scene that you feel like you're inside the game, not just listening to it from the sidelines. With the gaming preset, everything is tuned for positioning, with footsteps and gunshots becoming like beacon on the map, while the music presets adds warmth for RPG games and open worlds. I played for several hours straight, and my ears didn't scream for mercy. The isolation is solid, the microphone is clear for TeamSpeak, and the comfort allows you to wear them even under full-size eSport headphones. Compared to the Simgot EM6L, the EG280 offers an energetic and versatility V-shaped sound based on Harman 2019 with gaming tweaks. It has a warm musical vibe with emphasis on immersions, the bass hits you in the chest, the mid envelopes you, and the treble adds air without harshness. With the deck and up, it transforms becoming more precise for gaming or more soulful for music. The EM6L is cozy and refined V-shaped, also close to Harman, but with a softer, velvety balance and smoothness, ideal for music and gaming. It knows for its coherent sound and organic feel, ideal for balancing music and gaming. Both follows Harman, but the EG280 adds dynamic and airiness from the planar and is generally a little brighter and more gaming-ish, while the EM6L is more musical, polished, and versatility. The difference in drivers and price is noticeable, but both are top for their money. Compared to the Simgot EA500LM, this is bright, fun V-shape with engaging presentation, more aggressive and detailed, with emphasis on the upper mids and treble for a wow effect, especially with the nozzles. It's more technical in separation and transient, but can be fatiguing for sensitive ears. The EG280 is warmer, smoother for casual use, while EA500LM is brighter and more vocal oriented. The price difference is minor, but the EG280 with DEC is more versatility, while EA500LM is a step into hi-fi with tunings. Compared to the Simgot EW200, this is single DD with a brighter and engaging U-shaped or mild V-shaped, with emphasis on lively and detailed crisp treble and airy vibe, which make music fun but can be tiring during long listening sessions. It is neutral with vibrant treble, good for female vocals and games, but thinner and brighter than the EG280. The EG280 is warmer and smoother for casual listening, while the EW200 is brighter for detail lovers on a budget. The price difference is huge. The EG280 with the DEC is some great, but the EW200 is the best for $40. In conclusion, folks, the Simgot EG280 is the gaming hit of 2025 for those who want versatility IEMs without overpaying. This hybrid IEMs equipped with a 10mm DD and 6mm planar driver, plus a DEC with a mic for $80, offers a V-shaped signature with warm, cozy vibe inspired by the Harman 2019 with gaming tweaks. The sound is emotional, with powerful bass, leading mids and sparkling treble, which is ideal for everyday use and gaming. With the Simgot Control App, you can customize them to your liking, with the FPS preset for accuracy in the shooters and the music for chilling with a hi-fi sound. I used them for several hours straight and my ears didn't complain. The lightweight shells, ergonomic shape and isolation make them perfect for long gaming sessions. And what do you think about these gaming IEMs from the Simgot? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Like if you enjoy it and subscribe so you don't miss any new reviews. See you soon, take care and bye bye.